There we go. I'm always louder than everybody else. There's something about my voice. Just booms.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cuts through.
Yeah. So we got some shitty video happening. We'll leave the window open. Doesn't matter if there's noise. No one gives a shit.
No.
Like, turns out, nobody cares about background noise or things happening. They just want to hear interesting people talk. That's all. Like, everyone's trying to make the perfect podcast with all this amazing gear, expensive equipment.
No, I like the background sound a little bit. Something coming in, it gives that another dimension, I suppose. Yeah.
I'll do a little introduction and
all
then
right.
I'll bring you in. Hey, man. Hey, guys. This is the next episode of Comedy Guy, and we're here in the Comedy Estonia podcast studio. It's another hot day, and I'm joined this week by my friend Sten Erik Allikas. And Sten Erik has had this really interesting life and career, you might say. He's lived in a whole bunch of different countries, and we're going to talk a lot about that. He was running a band in Cambodia. He's lived in London, Singapore, some time in Melbourne. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it was like to be a musician. He's now a trained chef as well. He's got a kitchen and a restaurant running in Norway. So, hey, why not add more countries on? And what it's like, we're going to be talking about, I like to talk about the entertainment industry, but also creativity and living your own life and what it's like to make your own way and to not want to just follow the rules of the rest of the society. And, even though that guy's got a Porsche, I'm not going to live like that guy. The Porsche isn't worth it. So it's going to be a bit more of a meandering talk and a look into Sten's life. So Sten Erik, hey buddy, welcome, man.
Thank you so much. And Porsche is on the way, isn't it?
It's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Excellent. Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I've been back now for the summer. Kind of mandatory thing. Everybody was sent home, right? So I've been really enjoying this place. I didn't really think that would be so great, but going out here into the forest, traveling Estonia. It's been wonderful, and
that's an interesting connection to bring it back around. Because there's a lot of similarities, I think, between our attitudes and the way that we both traveled the world and tried to find a place, and that now you've come full circle. You're back here in Estonia.
I'm back.
You're like, this place ain't bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and especially I gotta say what you have done here with the comedy scene. That's incredible, right? I gotta start by saying that we met. I remember it was like 10 years ago, right?
10 years ago, yeah.
And you guys were in this bar in Old Town.
Drink bar would have been then, yeah.
Yes, excellent. And there was no stand-up comedy at the time, right? And I'm a big fan since I was a child. I started with watching comedians like Bill Hicks and Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, of course, and so on. So for me, it was like a ray of light, right? So I was like, I came straight over, right? After the show, I said, "What are you guys doing here? What is this?" And I was really pleasantly surprised, and to see what you guys have done with it now, it's just incredible.
And nice, man. Now, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't you the ones that introduced us to Club Privé?
I was, yes. Yes, we were working with them together, and I was like, you guys need a bigger venue, and you gotta get exposure right now. And I was just using my connections, and that's about it. I just wanted comedy. That's all I wanted. I just want to laugh like the rest of the Estonians, because we need that, right? It's been a while since we got a laugh.
It was, look, at the time, it was the right thing to do at Privé, because nobody understood what we were. Nobody understood what the fuck, a few people like you did know, but for the most part, it was very confusing. Bar owners, venue owners didn't understand what this thing was. And on one hand, like, credit to Kuno that I guess he understood a bit. He and NR did understand something. It went all right at Privé. We kind of, after a while, discovered that as we grew in popularity, there were people who weren't coming because they didn't want to come to Privé. They weren't Privé people. And this was our first education about that people associate with venues. They're like, I go there, but I don't go there. It's like, oh, okay. And I don't know if I've told this story end to end before, but it didn't end well.
Oh, wow.
And eventually, look, we co-produced the first Dylan Moran show with them because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. And then they got some cut out of that. And then it seemed to me that it was like, Kuno thought he owned half of our business.
Oh, no. Oh.
And I was like, nah, that's not how it works, champion.
Yeah.
And then we had a meeting and we told him that we were not going to perform at his venue anymore. He threatened us. I laughed at him, which,
Is appropriate in that situation.
Right. And I think I made a comment as like, is this 1992, bro? Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know shit works like that anymore. And he said he's going to send lawyers' letters on Monday. And this was the first time we ever got threatened with a lawyer's letter. So that was quite a milestone. And and it's good because now, look, we've been threatened with a lot of lawyers' letters. I've had a lot of people over the years tell me they're going to send me. Sometimes they do. And then we send them a lawyer's letter back. And that, usually doesn't go further than there. So, that's all part of the process. And it's made us learn that, when people are not winning an argument, their go-to is, you'll hear from my lawyer. And I'm like, I look forward to it because lawyers are not typically angry people. Where whoever you might be at this time, you're a little bit angry right now. So yeah, it makes you tough over the years, and that's all part of the game, part of the creativity, part of the showbiz.
Oh, absolutely, and that what makes you stronger, I suppose. You gotta, I'm sorry to hear it went like that.
No, it's fine, and look, it's certainly no reflection upon you. Don't get me wrong. We learned to assert ourselves. We learned to put the value in ourselves and the thing that we were doing, and at every step of the way, I've had to, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at the start. So you got to, more and more be confident in yourself and be confident like, oh, okay, we don't necessarily need them. We can do this on our own. And okay, we could. So that's how you do it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did because sometimes people, they come in and they want to change your kind of a vision of it. And it doesn't necessarily always work. Sometimes it works brilliantly. But when you have your own clear vision where you want to go, just keep with that and just go with it, and don't take shit from nobody, as they say.
So let's just do a little bit of background on who you are first, because we want to get into a little bit about the way eventually into how the society that we're in, and it kind of tells us to be a certain way and do a certain thing. But give us the shorter background on, did you grow up in Tallinn? How did you get to where we were at? We kind of meet 10 years ago, because then we're going to go off into your story of your travels. And
actually I grew up here quite close to this neighborhood, and it was rough. I'm not gonna lie, right? I mean, I grew up in a Soviet Union. The end of it. There was like the nine last years of the Soviet Union was my childhood.
So you were 9 when the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah, I was 9. For a kid, I mean, it was great. We didn't know everybody was poor and depressed, and they were they were held in here as prisoners, basically. We didn't have no idea. So we were having a really good time because everything was communal. There was no fences. We were running around, through houses, and everything was open. So. And the kids were on the street. Everybody were on the street, right? The lifestyle was different. You wanted to see somebody, you had to go to their house, under the window and whistle and shout out. And if they were not home, then you weren't looking for them on the streets. And it was great, right? I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's nothing like it was back then. Now.
Get off my lawn!
No. Today they have their own things, the kids, and this is how it progresses the world, right? So I went to music school when I was 6, and I did that for 7 years, and then they moved. And back at the day when you in Soviet Union, when you moved your house, then you also have to move school because the school was in that different area where you live now. So I went from this really nice. I went to Jakob Westholmi Gymnasium, which is a very prestigious school, right? The Revalia Poistekoor, which is it's up there. It's up there. So I went from this wonderful environment where I learned music. I I went to Tallinna Ühisgümnaasium.
Okay.
Yeah. Back at the day, it was, I think it was one of the most horrible schools you can go.
It was rough.
It was rough. I think it was, they were all, I mean, Jakob Westholmi was up there, you know, somewhere in top 10. And Tallinna Ühisgümnaasium was 150th. Yeah.
Wait, is that in the country? There's 150 schools in
Tallinn,
the country?
Tallinn.
Jesus, yeah.
No, there's only 140 schools in Tallinn, but it was 150. It was so bad. It was horrible. I went there. There was no music there. First of all, I've been learning music for 7 years. Only music, math, a little bit, you know, physics here and there, but mostly music. So now I went there, none of it. You know, only math, physics, chemistry. And nobody even asked, where are you coming from? Do you know this? I was, you know, the first thing what I did to survive was started cheating and making these little notes and you know how I can get past this, because my brain was wired in a different you know way at the time. So and also there was bullies, right? The bully society was there. I mean, teachers died on the job because they were old also, but it was so horrible that they would just have enough of with this shit, and they just, you know, took out. And I went to that school. The new place I lived, one of the main bullies was living on the same street, so I was like kind of, you know, I was not touched that much. Like I was left alone because it was like a jail. When new guy came in, you were tested, right? So, but the older guys, bullies, they didn't like that. They were like, nah, we need to test this guy, right? So they took another guy who was bullied and they, you know, challenged me. He took one point, he came and he put a pen, you know, hit a pen in my hand. And the other guy was like, okay, now we have to fight, you know, after school. This time you'll be there and there's a fight, right? We're going to test you. No, they didn't say it, but basically that's how I understood. And the guy was bigger than me also. The you know, I was very skinny at the time, very, very, very skinny. And there was a fight. I went out there. There was a big ass circle, 50 people, right? It was an event. Where were the teachers? That's what I want to know. You know? Where were they hiding?
They were taking bets off to the side. They're making money off this.
They were scared. And people on the windows. So it was a big event, you know. It's yeah, this is the only time I ever fought. Was that time in school. I won, you know. I was accepted, but it wasn't nice, you know. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a great environment to be in for 3 years, and definitely the education system. Is more on the way of your dreams than it's helping you to achieve them, kind of a thing. So sooner you realize that, the better off you are. So I went to cookery school. So yeah.
This is after high school already?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there was a few more years. I went to night school. You know, I went here and there. There was quite a few schools I've been in. So at the end of the day, I went to the cookery school, and they. It was also the topic there. The best thing about that was they sent you in a work environment where you be for 2 weeks. You can practice your skills there. That was it. Rest of it was absolute rubbish. And on the third year, there was like 5 of us. We were not, we were, bad boys kind of a thing. We were not learning that much, and we were asked to leave the school. Our teacher said, maybe you guys want to leave because I don't want to take you to the exams. You guys might embarrass me, and I was like, all right, fair enough, I'll write, I signed this paper, I'll take off. I was a little bit pissed at the time. I was like, what I'm gonna do, but I got this really good job at this as a prep chef and a pot wash in a restaurant called Eesli, which was a legendary restaurant at the time. A lot of Finnish people went there to eat red meat, pepper steak.
Okay. Where was it? In Old Town?
Yeah, Old Town, Tunkari street. So that was a very busy place. I was a prep chef there, and I wanted to prove myself. You know, I was kind of kicked out of school, and now I got this good job in a good restaurant. It's a good start. So I did that prep chef thing for 3 months, pot wash, and then I got into a larder section, which is salads and stuff like that. And from there, I did that for 3 months, and then the head chef quit. Right, and I was young. I was like, I don't know, 20s, and they said, let's give you a go. You know, let's try you out. And I've been working for 6 months, but I've seen what they've done.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
So I was up for the task, and I did that. I did that another 6 months until they closed the restaurants. They sold the place to Russians or something. And after that I was ready. You know, we did 250 covers. Like every day. I mean, it was more. There was 250 seats there in the summertime. So we did around 500 people each night. Yeah, and
that must have been long hours.
That was long, and a lot of chefs like to drink after work.
Yeah.
So we were drinking hard and working hard, but we were making quite a decent money as well there. So it was worth it.
That's a tough part of the hospitality industry, isn't it? That it's because you work late and then you're always having because you want to decompress after you've dealt with, well, maybe if you're the wait staff, the shitty customers, if you're in the kitchen, it's just insanity for several hours, at least in the middle. And there's booze there's always some drinks, and there's such a strong, but that's the tough part that we know as comedians. If you're drinking every night to decompress, it catches up with you and you're not performing at your best.
No.
But you're young, I guess, and you're crazy and you're getting into it.
Yeah, yeah. Chefs, they are. How should I say? Most of them drink alcohol, or they smoke weed, or they do something to wind down because of the. I mean, the job itself is not horrible, right? You know, there's food. I mean, you're working with food and you're making people feel good and make them happy. But the pressure itself, when it gets busy and there's no point of return. You just gotta work with it. And I've worked in situations in London where I worked. I went there to work for Gary Lee, who is a executive chef in London Ivy at the moment. And I worked for him for a year, and it got so busy sometimes that the head chef. This environment was also new for me because it was very professional. Chef was shouting all the time the tickets and then where is this table, and the communication level in that kitchen was, there was no other way because it was so busy. If you don't communicate, you crash, right? And there was sections as well, so you have different sections and everybody has their job, and it all comes together in a pass where the head chef is, and you can't fuck up. You know, you're sending something 1 minute early, 1 minute late to head chef, he will throw that at you, and that's how it goes down. So sometimes the head chef was screaming at me, faster, you know.
There's the stereotype. I mean, because that's a stereotype I guess we're all familiar with. Everyone's seen some Gordon Ramsay episode or some fucking Jamie Oliver, whatever. Like, and when I always watch that stuff, I'm like, does it have to be that way? Is there something inherent about kitchens? Yes, absolutely high pressure. Yes, maybe margins are thin, kitchen space is small, a lot of things to coordinate. I mean, do you have to be a dick? They seem to be talented and dicks a lot of the time as well. Like, does it have to be that way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I suppose it would have to be in some environments because everybody knew that, you know, Gary Lee as a head chef, he's a badass, right? He can tear you a new one. But after work, when the clock hit, when the last table was gone, he changed, man. He was, you know, what's up, dudes? You know, let's chill out and let's talk. You know, let's. He was a really good guy, a good person. He helped a lot of young kids like myself, and he was also one of the years he was 100 most influential black people in UK. Yeah. So he's done his part. But yeah, there was times where, you know, maybe pressure got to him as well sometimes. We were busy. So
it's about balancing off that, like, okay, yes, in that moment, and okay, he's just fucking yelled at me, but we see enough of the real human being of this chef that he talks with us, he mentors us later, you know, works us through it, that we know this guy's not a psychopath.
Yeah, no. When he stepped into the kitchen, everybody was on their toes. There was no question, because there was sometimes you made a mistake. Sometimes we forgot, like there was something like we forgot duck fat, like few containers in the fridge in my section. I didn't leave them there, but I'm still responsible. So he went in there, he found them, and he just threw them out on the floor. Like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, and I was standing there, it just sprayed on me, this duck fat. You know, I was taking it, and I didn't mind at all.
Okay.
You know, it was my bad. Sorry,
Yeah.
you know, I'll take it. And I really enjoyed it, because it kind of gave me also and I worked myself up there. You know, I started from larder, went to pastry, and you went to all the sections, right? So at the end of my time there was 2 Estonians. He actually hired me because of another Estonian who was working so good for him. And he was like, I'll take you in. I want 1 year out of you, but I'll teach you a lot, right? So I was like, all right. And end of my time there was 2 Estonians on his both right hand and left hand were both Estonians, and we were like. We didn't make any mistakes. We were, you know, Estonians are good workers when you train them, and we're trained.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. There is a good work ethic going on here. We're not. Yeah. There's a good thing. So because you went to, right, you did the school and all that. You were training as a chef, and then when I met you, you were thinking about you were playing some music. You were thinking about leaving. Yeah. This is about 2010 or so would have been something.
Yes, excellent. I did the chef thing. I was trained properly. I got good at it, and then I was thinking, you know, the music thing still, right? I went to music school when I was young. Something was missing. Something is kind of bothering me that I'm not doing it. So I went back to choir singing for 3 years, and a really nice choir actually here, Vox Populi. They do great performances and great stuff, and they're becoming quite famous now as well. But then I went to a hippie community in Spain as well. I spent there for a year.
Wait, when was this then?
That was also when I was living in London.
Okay, so after 2010, you decided to leave, and then you went to London. You're working in the kitchen that you told us about, and you had a little sojourn, a little trip over to
where my
Spain
friend went from Estonia to south of Spain hitchhiking. Right.
I have friends that did that shit as well. Like same thing, like 2007, 2008. I had they were like 2 little chicks. And I was like, what? Are you not afraid for your vaginas? Like, huh? And they just did it, and it's fine. And no one touched it, was fine.
No, I never traveled like that. That takes courage and balls, and sometimes
it was still the age where that problem. I don't know if it happens today, but yeah.
So they went there. They found this place through also this great adventure they went through. They found this really nice hippie community in south of Spain, which is called Beneficio, which is beneficial in English. And I was like, really? What is? I'm in London, really busy. I want to come there. I want to check it out. You know, what are you guys doing there? So there's around. It's in a valley, in the mountains, in Sierra Nevada mountains, close to this town called Orchiva. Right? It's in a valley. It's a beautiful place, amazing place. So there's a little stream coming down from the valley. There's a fresh water source there, a spring that is delightful. So everything is there. You know, the fresh product, the vegetables and everything. And I went there, and they were living there, you know, in a tent. And we were building a teepee. We got a teepee next, and then we started building a little house, because everything, you can't build anything permanent there, right? So this needs to be...
How many people are living in this commune?
At the time, there was around 150 people.
All right, quite a lot. Yeah. Is there some sort of hierarchy there? Is there some sort of leader? Or
actually, I mean, there's no. That's what they say, you know, there's no leader there, but there are definitely some gurus there, and you can see spiritual leaders, kind of people. Mostly they grow weed there, weed growers.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and so there was...
So you arrive there, and you've got to make your own teepee to live in.
Yes.
They're taking fresh water from the stream. Is this like some communes that I've heard about, they maybe do some sort of agriculture or something to earn some money with the community? I mean, how does the commune support itself?
As mostly wheat growers. Yeah.
Right, selling weed. Sorry, you said that. Why didn't I put that together?
But there was not only. But the thing is, that there's local people, Spanish old families, generations been growing weed there in the mountains.
What do they do? They sell the weed, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and probably they smoke it as well. I'm not sure, but yeah. So. And also in the community, there were a few old hippies, and they also had big plantations in the mountains somewhere. You know, it's high up, but every harvest time, which is around October 8th, comes a police helicopter, you know, scouting and looking for fields, and you know, they need to bust something. They need to show to the government that they're doing something, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I started playing music there also. That's the music thing. Every evening, people get together in a big tipi. You can fit 50 people in that tipi. Big fire in the middle. They make food, they eat, and then they start playing music. Yeah, incredible music. People come from Africa. They've been learning drums, you know, djembes with some tribes there, and this is their spot where they come to rest, beneficio, and the melodies and the rhythms and the things that we hear in that tipi every night. It was
so you typically it's very interesting, people who so you've come straight from London as well. Okay, the most intense environment in the world. So during the day, are you doing manual labor? You're working in a field or doing some work?
No, I was working in London at the time, so I had some money.
Yeah, so you had the money, but then you came to when you come to the commune.
I mostly just was playing djembe, the drum, the hand drum. I was trying to get my rhythm down. Right. And I
so not everybody needs to have a job in this commune.
No, it's total anarchy. You can do whatever you want there, you know, as long as it doesn't disturb other people. Sure. That's why this community was so beautiful as well, because there was nobody who came to tell you anything that, you can't do that here, as long as you are, you know, in that space that you keep everything cool. But that banged the drum. Then I built a guitar. My first guitar I had a neck and a body, so I put those together somehow, and I tried to play that, and that's how it slowly started. My way back to music.
Does that commune still exist? Do you know?
Yes, it does exist, but it's not that active anymore because of all the firewood. In 30 years, it's been collected from the area.
Okay.
So there is no. You have to bring in the firewood to make the
fire.
Yeah. Okay. So they do it once a week or something like that now. But it's not like every night it was back at the day. Yeah. But it's still worth going there and spend some time and get close to the nature and again, take time for yourself.
Because it's such an idea that probably a lot of people today can't even comprehend, that you would just be in a place and we're all just banging drums and hanging out and what do you do? You mean, even I was like, surely you work in the fields or something. Like, no, we're just there.
No, just do what you want. What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, just do.
And that it doesn't devolve into some sort of, you said anarchy, but bad anarchy, like that it doesn't evolve so that there's some sort of mutual understanding. I'll do whatever I want. Okay, I'm gonna, light a fire and shoot people. So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing was that a lot of people after the recession 2008, a lot of people moved there as well because they lost their homes and they changed their lives. So a lot of colorful people came there. So there was also the community, right, which is in the valley, in the eucalypt forest. But down there, there's a car park where there's trailer parks and which is not that busy anymore, but they drink alcohol there and they cause problems sometimes because this is how alcohol works.
I believe I'm familiar with it. Yes.
So there was no alcohol allowed in the tipi. They didn't tolerate that, and meat.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So vegetarian, a lot of smoking weed. That was all right. Right. No problem with that for some reason, but. That was the vibe there. It was really nice. It was very peaceful, very friendly, very open environment. Everybody was welcome.
So how long did you spend there?
I spent a year there. Not all the way, but I did 4 months, 4 months, and 3 months.
Okay. Fascinating.
Yeah, and it definitely was beneficial for my journey.
I bet. It's something that I can't imagine not only are we all addicted to phones these days, which I'm very aware of, and I'm trying to stop the best that I can, but these small little pathological devices. No, because they're designed. They are trained to prey on your human abilities. They're using the same playbook that the Las Vegas casinos came up with. More like the same psychological playbook of keeping you hooked, giving you just a little bit, for that. It's the same techniques that they use. So of course you can't. It's incredibly hard to get off. But even without a phone addiction, I once went to it was a Buddhist retreat in south of Sydney. It was going to be my friend and I, and I was like, she was all into that stuff. And I went, I'll give it a go. I don't know. I'm a crazy guy. I'll give it a go. And then she got sick and I went, fuck it, I'll go anyway. And we went and we did the walking meditation. Then we did the eating meditation and then the silence and sitting in there. And I got to admit, by about 8 p.m., I cracked. On 8 p.m. on the first day of a 3-day retreat, I cracked and I went to bed. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. They all have to get up at like friggin' 4 a.m. or something. My roommate is like, Lewis, you getting up? I'm like, nah, I'm out of here. And then I go out to my car in the morning at 8 a.m. As I drive out of the car park of the Buddhist monastery, there's like 5 other people clearly waiting as well. They have also cracked. We are not built for that life. And it was on the southern coast of just past Wollongong, if you know something about New South Wales. I went down to the water. There was a beautiful swell. I went to the cafe. I got bacon, eggs, a flat white, and I said, I'll do it. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I can't do the Buddhism.
Hey, fair enough. We this is how it is. We are very simple to program as humans. It turns out. And it's the addictions. You tried mushrooms before?
I want to.
Okay.
I haven't, but I want to.
That's a really nice retreat if you want to get away, and it's quick, right? It's like few hours and you're done with it. You don't have to stay for 3 days in a monastery and meditate and listen to the gongs and all that. So yes, and I know that therapists use that, but we used to take mushrooms because it was fun, right? It was just like, oh, look at that, and we were laughing like crazy. And it's very hilarious what's going on. But in a later trips now I've done as well. Like recently I've done, and it gets as you get older, the trips get a little bit different, right? You're interested in a different things now. I have questions. Like I want to know.
I was about to say the same thing. I would view it as a more serious thing. Not like serious, but I'm like, I really wanted to show me some stuff because I need a couple of answers, and I was wondering if it can help me out.
So the best is to go with a therapist, right? And they will really guide you because they're shamans and they can guide you to really, the original levels where we come from. They say there's only 2 parts there. There's the good that brings you to good and the thing that brings you to bad. So you go to that level. The shaman will bring you to that level, and you can start, working on that. So it's really a tool that can be used to fix yourself, fix depression or whatever issues you might have, and even pains in the body. And it's an incredible piece of nature that it's illegal for some reason, and it's helping a lot of people. So
I think it is. That is actually, I was just having a conversation with a friend, and we were like, we love it in Estonia. Everything's great. We love all the things. And then we're like, wouldn't it be great if things were legalized? And we just look at each other and we're like, nah, this ain't gonna, this is not happening around here. For all our online, for all our progressiveness, every interaction that I've had with, I don't know, bureaucrats or anyone in the government, not like I've met ministers who have thought about this, but just you get a vibe for what's going on. And we're very open to everything except drugs here. Yeah. I can't see it happening here.
Yeah, the old school, right?
Yeah.
Who the deciders are, and they're just stuck to their program. They just don't want to change their guns, and you can't blame them really because it's changing fast, right? turns out that marijuana, that was a horrible drug like 50 years ago, turns out to be a savior of Earth.
Yeah.
Because you can make everything out of it. So as we change our perspective on that, it might not happen in our lifetime, but it will happen eventually, because it's you can't deny the truth, and that plant is really a good plant.
And now we can't even get to Netherlands because they just made a lockdown
Yeah.
of the quarantine there. We can't.
Yeah,
They're just over.
I was supposed to go there in December to meet up with some friends, but we'll see about that, how it goes. And I don't think that maybe it shouldn't be illegal. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do like mushrooms or weed every day.
Sure,
So
but I don't think the Dutch do either.
No,
I don't think the Dutch. Yeah,
Nah,
they're super chill.
Yeah, they don't even smoke. Most of
Yeah.
them, I talk to them, they're like, nah, I don't. I did when I was young, but that's it. So maybe, and that could be also, a solution to a lot of problems. Is legalization. They did that in Portugal, right? Yeah, you see what happened.
The hard drugs, didn't they do that? Was it with heroin and shit?
Everything. They went to politicians went to the scientists, and they said, we have an issue, right? We got to do something about that right now. And the scientists came back and said, legalize everything.
Damn, Bob
That's
Marley,
it.
legalize it, and
That's it. And the numbers went crazy. The addiction went down drastically. All the numbers went positive, like in few years. So, what's going on? It's different regions are still different mentalities. They'll get there. They'll get there one day.
we'll get there. So when do you do some time in London? You're in the commune there, and then you're thinking about Asia.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Asia. I'm keen. I'm really into Asian food now. I do sushi and Japanese food. I actually worked in a first sushi restaurant in Estonia.
Ah, shit. Which place was that?
There was Sushi House. That was on Rataskaivu 16. Where is that Rataskaivu 16 at the moment?
Right. Yeah.
So that was there, and it was the first never in the history of Estonia anything been like that here. So it was all proper. The equipment was brought from Japan, and we were trained properly. So I was getting really into that. I was like, yeah, I like the taste, and I like the culture, and I gotta get there, right? I gotta get closer to Asia. So we went traveling. At one point through Vietnam, we went with motorbikes. We went through Vietnam, and then we went to Cambodia. We stayed there for a few weeks, and then we went to Thailand. I had a trip there. So and after that, I decided that Cambodia is
This is it.
This is it. This is the rawest place I've seen. It's the jungle, right? It's the normal rules don't apply there. You can it's so corrupt there. It's horrible, but at the same time, it's wonderful. And because it just gives you that sense of freedom that you don't have anywhere else in the world. So we found this really nice town near to the sea, beautiful islands, just a half an hour away.
What was the place?
Sihanoukville. That was backpacker's heaven, right?
I think I've heard of it. I can't remember if we went there or not. My friends and I, in 2006, on the way to Europe, went through Thailand. I know we made it up into Cambodia. Maybe if Dieter's listening, he can help me out to remember if we went to Sihanoukville. I have a possibility we may have been I can't remember much of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yes,
that time it was even. I mean, it was
because it's like in the south of Cambodia, just to the north of Thailand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's the biggest town by the sea, but it was growing fast, at the time. So there was beach parties every night, and that's where I got the band together as well. I started doing open mics with me playing guitar, and it was terrifying because that's to go up there and perform in front of people was, to me, was.
Why was it? I mean, you performed. You've done a lot, haven't you?
Yeah. Not like publicly, like not in front of people. It's a different. I needed to do that also. I can explain why as well. Beginning of my education system, which was turned out to be a horrific experience. Also, in the first grade, when I was a very outgoing, very energetic kid, right? And back at the day, they kind of used humiliation to bring kids down. So they pulled my pants down in front of the whole class, and everybody was pointing fingers and laughing at me, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. So they probably don't do that anymore. But Soviet Union, you know, it was a gray area. It was all right to beat your kids, you know, to do, if they misbehaved, you give them a few smacks, and that's how you fix them. So that was always, after that I was quite timid, right? I was like, I wasn't that outgoing. I wasn't screaming anymore in front of the class like I used to, right? So and that's why I think I wanted that. I needed to get over that fear, because we have to, you know, eventually we have to face our fears and get over them. That's the one part of being alive, I suppose. And it was, to get up there, it was painful physically to get in front of people. Yeah. And also, when after that incident, I obviously I lost all trust in authority,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
Like, if teacher, never in my school career would trust the teacher, because for obvious reasons. So I knew I needed to get rid of that. I need to throw that off my shoulders, and I gotta get up there. I gotta start performing. I want that feeling, when everybody's there laughing at you, pointing fingers. Kind of a perverse reverse psychology, or I have no idea what could it be. So I started doing that. There was a music shop I used to play, right? And the music shop owner was a horrible drunk. And he saw me one time in an open mic, and he liked what I played. I knew I wasn't ready to perform in front of people, but he took me physically, and he was drunk, and he threw me up there. Yeah, he threw me on stage, and he started, "You start playing right now, boy." He was
He's
from
like
Texas. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
He's from Texas.
He's living in Sihanoukville as well.
Yeah. He had a music store there.
Of course, you do have a music store in Sihanoukville.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the most obvious career path.
No idea
Yeah,
what's going on there. So yeah, that's how it started slowly, and I knew that I need help, right? I'm not gonna be able to get with this because my knowledge of music is not that great. So I need professionals who can help me and teach me, and I found a brilliant guitarist from Denmark. He was there traveling as well. Morten, he used to play in a heavy metal or death metal band.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Danish, they know it. Yeah.
Blood Label was the name. So it's hardcore, right? And now I'm like, man, I need your skills, right? And he liked my style, kind of. He started playing guitar for me. And he's coming, playing for these fucking riffs, like speed of lightning riffs. Now he's playing like Britney Spears covers with me in Cambodia. We're doing this pop shit with that everybody sings along, and they like, because we wouldn't usually play that, but as we perform in a venue, we play what people want to hear.
Sure. You're in a backpacker town.
Yeah,
right?
they show them a good time, and then joined James from Philippines. We loved his style. He singing, his voice amazing. He could play guitar and bass, and so we united and we started doing more gigs. I get better. I learn from them. We play 5 nights a week, so it's impossible not to learn from them.
That's the way to get better. That's deliberate practice.
Yeah. And you gotta sometimes you just gotta ask for help. You gotta realize I'm not good enough to do this. I need help. I need professionals who come in and they help me out and they support me. So, and I'm like telling them all the time, we gotta make our own music, man. I got a few songs, you got a few songs, we would do good. And they're like, nah, you have no idea what it takes, because they both done bands for a long time now. And they're like, shut up, play the tambourine and sing. But we're good friends, like, and they give in. Eventually they give in, we were in Vietnam, and we went to this island there was nothing there. I took them there basically. We had a plan to go there, and we sat on a beach for a whole night. We had a few beers, a few smokes, and we just laid everything out that we had, and we got an album out of it. We went back, we worked on it for a bit, get all the songs together, and the way it works that me and James, we write songs. And we have some melodies, but Morten is the musical director in our band. He takes them and he makes this, the solos there. He makes the bridges. He makes them work basically. Okay, so we have that kind of a mixture that works.
Sure, that group dynamic.
Yeah, the dynamics. Yeah, the different backgrounds also help because James is from Philippines. He's from the show band, right? Morten is death metal from a band. I'm a choir boy. It doesn't get any more different than that, right? So it was kind of meant to be. And we had a really great time doing the album. We released it in May, I think. It's out there. It's called The Veil.
The Veil.
The Veil.
What's the name of the band?
The
Veil. Yeah, sorry, The Veil is the name of the band.
The Veil. In Estonia, it's The Vale.
The Vale.
The Vale, which means the lie.
Oh, okay. So you gave it the Estonian name, but it has the English
name also.
Name as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We were stuck. We were basically, I don't know what all the music is ready. We are ready to release. We don't have a name. So we're like, I'm going through these Estonian names, and I say, what about The Veil? And they're like, yeah, fuck it.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. Just let's get over.
So you guys those other guys have kind of settled in Sihanoukville as well. So you're kind of living there as well. I mean, are you just living off the savings? Are you doing anything to make money or?
Oh yeah, we're getting paid for playing music.
Oh, you get paid for playing music? Yeah. Even at if you were playing at one bar a lot, weren't you?
Yeah, Les Effort. Yeah, in Sihanoukville. 5 nights a week. We did that for a year or so.
Dang, I mean, that's a trial. And as well, you're playing for backpackers. They're rowdy, they're crazy, they're all partying. It's just a party every night of the week.
I was drinking whiskey on the stage and smoking joints to get through this evenings.
And you're smoking you're drinking that local whiskey, which has got some good stuff in it.
Oh yeah, we were drinking all sorts of whiskey there, but the local whiskey, I don't want to touch that very much. It's unpredictable, Right? You never know what's the next day.
Because we heard the rumors they would sprinkle some stuff in it or add some extra, inconsistent. It could be normal. It could send you to Mars. It could be either one of those two.
Yeah.
Was it the typical backpacker thing? Did they serve buckets?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to serve buckets.
Buckets with a lot of 10 straws in there.
Sometimes I wish they would serve buckets just at a regular bar here. Just I miss it sometimes, right? I wish we could just go down to Teleskivi here and there's an outside bar, a Kapika, and whatever it costs, I'll get a bucket with 10 straws and we can all just walk around getting fucked up.
A bucket night. It doesn't work that well at the moment, does it? The sharing thing.
No, you can't share the bucket. Now, if you know what we're talking about, it's in like Thailand and Cambodia and all those sort of places. It's a kind of a typical way to get, because the alcohol costs fuck all there. So you get like a children's sand bucket, like something the children might play with at the beach or something like that, and a whole bunch of straws, and it costs, I don't know, whatever, and that's what you drink. And so it's very communal, and you're a backpacker, you're doing your thing. And I mean, I remember so it might be, the local whiskey with, I don't know, tonic or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or it might be the local whiskey with Red Bull. And when you've had a bucket of Red Bull, you're off to Mars. Like, say hello to Elon Musk. You're going up in the stratosphere.
I'm not touching that shit. I'm staying away from the energy drinks, man. I'm too hyper anyways. The thing is that one of the most horrific drinks they do there is the vodka shot, right? But now you have the powder energy drink. You heard about
powder?
Yeah, there's a powder. You put it in the water normally, and it fizzes, makes it nice and fizzy, and then you drink the water with the energy powder. Now they take the vodka shot and they put the powder right on top. That's how you sound after drinking. Exactly. They sometimes, they made me do it. So I just took the packet with the energy drink, and then they put it in the mouth. You don't have to put it right on the thing. So I throw it on the ground before, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing it, but no way I'm going drinking that, because it's just it tears your intestines apart, basically.
Yeah.
What it does if you drink that with alcohol.
I think a lot of people also don't know the story of how like Red Bull came about. Because before the powder, I know like the original way that energy drinks have had in Cambodia and Thailand is like a concentrate almost. The energy drinks come in a small little jar that looks like it might be medicine or something like that. And it's more like a thick syrup. And the store, and that's typically how how the energy drinks were had over there. And the story goes that whoever it was, Mr. Red Bull, I don't know who the fuck it was traveling through Asia, had one of these small syrupy little bottles of energy drink, and when this stuff is great, but we need to carbonate it and sell it to Westerners. Westerners won't drink it like this, and yeah, carbonated the syrup stuff, and that's how Red Bull took off.
Wow. Yeah, most of the bestsellers come from Asia.
Yeah.
That part.
Because there's no rules. They don't give a
No.
fuck. There's like, let's try this. Let's see what this does on humans.
Anything. They try anything there. It says on a can, I think, don't drink it with alcohol.
Right, as they pour it into your bucket like this. And it's not even real, like it's not even Red Bull. It's like local knockoff. It's like Green Bull or something.
That doesn't say on a local can. It doesn't say don't mix with alcohol, probably, because they don't give a fuck over there.
So you're living and working at this bar every night. It's a party every night. I mean, that has to be a struggle. Like any artist has the struggle to not overindulge on drink and drugs. I mean, even as comedians, we're not crazy, but we're also at a bar every night. It's hard not to have a few. It's hard not to just hang around and, have a couple of drinks afterwards. But you're at a friggin' Cambodian backpacker bar 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard to keep yourself together.
I did good. Yeah. Well, it's just how it works. You wake up at noon and you go out.
It's hot.
You get ready. It's hot and you just drink. I didn't do that all the time. I didn't do music thing. I did consultation I did consultation for big hotels there and restaurants and resorts.
Oh, well, helping with the kitchen and setting up the kitchen and stuff. Okay.
And setting up the whole the restaurant, the waiting thing and the reception and the kitchen. Kitchen is obviously my expertise, but man, people went big companies went there. And open hotels, casinos, right? And the kitchen, they don't have anybody to employ to the kitchen, or there's nobody who would make decent food. So wherever I went in, I went maybe I want to work here. And I went in, I ate there, and after I went to talk to them, I said, okay, I can do this for you. Right? What do you think? You want to do it? They were 100% time. Everywhere I went, they said yes. So I worked there for a few months. I changed the menu. I trained the chefs. And
is it just because they can't? I mean, local people don't have those sort of skills or cooking in that environment. Yeah. I mean, people have great skills and amazing food, but not in that sort of a Western kitchen type setup thing. Yeah,
exactly. And I went one gig I did with that was. I went to this beautiful island to take care of a resort, and they had a private beach. It wasn't like a fancy place, but very basic bungalows. It was closest to paradise I ever seen. So they took me there. They said, "You wanna take this job?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll stay here on a beach for a few months, And I turned. They had real issues there with stuff, and we ended up changing. The whole stuff there. They left, They left. I came in to make some changes, and they. It was really interesting with also these Cambodian people that they listen to who's oldest. Doesn't have to be the smartest, but as long as they're oldest, they have to listen to that person because that's the respect. They give how the family, and they're very family orientated. So everything else, family comes first. Everything else comes second. So I was like, yeah, we got to do these changes. I got to take this person out of the kitchen, put her to housekeeping and I wanted to give a charge to this young chef. I saw the potential. She did really good, really nice. And I knew this would work, But that's my job. This is how I go in, I see what's wrong. I make it work. Now this oldest person, she was in the kitchen. She didn't like that. Now she's being sent to the housekeeping. She catered everybody. And they're leaving. Everybody, just me and one other guy stayed in the whole resort.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it turned out that they had pulled this again before as well to the owner. They said we're leaving, Yeah. So they demanding something from the owners, and the owners they have nothing else to do but say yes, Yeah. But now I'm there, and I say no. I just start sending new people as soon as you can, We're taking care of it for a week or so. With 2 people. So we did, and they started sending new people, and we trained them, and we turned that place around in 3 months. Yeah, I didn't make any money with kitchen before I went in, and they said, I said I want some money from it. I don't want to do it for free, and they said, yeah, we give you like 30% from the kitchen profits, and they were laughing because the kitchen was not making any money.
Yeah.
Right? So I went in there, I changed the thing, I started doing dinners. So everybody, there's a time for lunch and dinner, everybody gets together and we eat at the same time. So the expenses, we pull together the expenses drastically. They never seen anything like this before. The kitchen started making money the first month I was there, right? So I started making money, and they were really, really happy and really impressed. So after that, they gave me a free scuba diving course.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out Dennis if he's listening. Yeah, and I did my dive master there as well.
In Chinookville.
Yeah, in Chinookville. That was.
I mean, it's an amazing thing to settle into this town, to settle into this new culture. I mean, I understand there's a lot of foreigners there as well, but it's quite a mix of locals and foreigners, and to be able to, okay, we got a band going, we're getting this kitchen. Are you doing the kitchen at the same time as the band? Because the kitchen, you got to be there at night, don't you?
Yeah, they were. There was times that I did the daytime, I did the consultation, and the evenings we played. So the evenings were off. Yeah, but that was too much. I didn't want to do that for long, so I changed because my bandmates, they had to travel as well. Now and then they had to go home or.
So how much did you get? Let's say you guys are playing after you got going. I mean, you're playing at the Led Zephyr. How much you guys getting as a band per night?
Yeah. At first, I was actually really surprised that they're paying me.
Yeah, sure. You knew, like, of course, when you knew, you don't expect nothing.
I'm not gonna say no, but there was when we were with the band, there was $25 each, and food and drinks.
Okay.
So that's not a lot, obviously, but we played every night, so it kind of, builds up. There's other gigs as well. We can do solo gigs, and that will give you around $50 or $75. So it's around that area. If you're more famous, you maybe get $150 or something like that. Sure. It's not highly paid at all.
Of course, we're talking about a backpacker bar in the south of Cambodia, but. I mean, maybe your expenses get pretty low and you're able to scrape by. You can put it all together. You're doing the extra work with the kitchen and.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it worked. I did a bit of this, bit of that. I did scuba diving as well, and I worked as a dive master. I got money, so I got money from there as well sometimes. And
because is there so even when you get the band together, I mean, you guys. So it's great that you are doing 5 nights a week because you're getting that practice. You're pulling it together as a band. You're getting tighter. You can you're playing Britney Spears, but still you're playing. It's all right.
There was different gigs, right? We had this bar, and this bar we played. It was a really nice bar, although it was in Cambodia. It was owned by an Englishman. He used to work for Rolls-Royce. He did the jet engines for Rolls-Royce.
Rolls-Royce make the big jet engines for a lot of the Boeing, big jumbos and shit.
So he was an engineer for that, and he moved to Cambodia. He opened up this big, proper, really nice bar, and it wasn't like a shack or anything like that. But we had different gigs. So there was a Saturday nights. There was this marketplace where it was incredible that they had a big space and a big stage on a river, a lot of buzz. Some nights there were 400, 500 people there. Yeah, we rocked, Then it started from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. and then the DJ took over. But they had like 6 live performances. Everybody had an hour, and the last live performance was a band. Okay. So a lot of Saturdays we did I played the solo gig in like 6 p.m. and then I did with the band. I did that, nighttime. So it was different gigs, and we over there we could obviously play more what we want, the party music, the more jumping, dancing, and stuff like that. So this is how it worked for a while, and
so this lifestyle, I guess, in some way for this time in your life has agreed with you, like this.
Oh, I needed that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is a nice way to be for you. We're playing music, you're doing the kitchen.
But the most important was to absorb the culture and get that, mingle with locals, get to know something different. That where are you from, right? So that's
right, because otherwise you're just talking to the same fucking Aussie little backpacker kid. Oh yeah, mate. I'm partying. I'm here. Come from Melbourne. Fucking great. I'm going to school next year. My dad's a rich cunt, and I'm going to law school. But now I'm partying in Cambodia. Like, fuck off.
The backpackers' conversations. We were making fun of them all the time. We didn't. We would just. No, we heard it 100 times, man. This every night. This happens. The same conversation. So.
The only advantage that I had to that, because after being a backpacker myself for a year. You get fucking sick of that, right?
Yeah.
The only advantage that I found to that is it's what taught me to talk to women. Being no good to talk to women before, not only was I traveling with my friend who was much better at it than me, so I could have then observed him every night talking to women. But yeah, you get a Groundhog Day of it's the same people. Like it's a different person, but it's the same person.
Oh yeah.
And you get to just try again. And it's not like, oh, you're banging chicks all the time. I don't mean like that, but you get to try like talk and try. And, it's deliberate practice at talking to people out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
But if you're living there as a local, it's getting a bit much.
Yeah, there was with girls. I don't mind if girls talk to me. The same. I can talk for 1,000 years. I can talk the same if necessary. I don't care. But the guys and. I just don't care that much. And as a musician, obviously it was quite easy. The backpacker town, girls are drunk. We're performing on a stage. Two of us were single, and me and the drummer were single, and even the girls are like, I want that one. They're so drunk, they don't even care. Yeah, we did good there in that department as well, but you can't overdo as well. It gets boring and old at some point. So you gotta change lifestyle. I had a girlfriend there as well for a long time. So
okay. Was she local?
Yeah, she was from Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had a great time. She's a lovely girl. Very smart, very spiritual. Everything I needed. She took me to another level for sure. Yeah, she was my teacher,
and you seemed for your time there, because we're trying to get to this topic of what. Like societies, the rules and what everybody's doing. And like I was saying, me and Ari before, we're looking around seeing all these dudes with Porsches and we're like, why don't we have a Porsche? But you know what? Those guys probably went to school, go to the university, they're starting businesses. I don't know, maybe daddy's helping them out.
It's probably leased,
It's probably, there's the next part. Who's paying for all this stuff? And these people are on this path. And then you've got you just enjoying life in Cambodia, doing some stuff, making it happen. It's not like this glamorous. You're not driving a Porsche around. You're grabbing a tuk-tuk where you need to go.
Yeah,
but it's a good life still.
I had a motorbike there. I was driving around, and at one point, I mean, it was corrupt, right? So you're driving a motorbike, and the police is always there. Give me some money. You don't have a helmet, or you don't have a driving license, or something like that. They're just collecting from 2 till 5. From 5 p.m. they're gone, and they're done with. You know that. And I bought a bigger bike just to drive through police when I see them, so then don't have to pay them $2 anymore, because it was getting boring.
You could drive faster or something.
Yeah.
So then
they don't even care. They're like, here's the next one. And I actually did that, and it worked.
Huh.
And the thing is, to enjoy life. The thing is that we're taking too seriously this all this life stuff. We just gotta chill out and relax and just breathe for a moment sometimes, and take time for ourselves. And it's not always easy. Also, it's painful to go out there, and you probably know as well. It's you've been traveling. That there's times that are tough, and that you learn from these moments. You learn the most, right? So at the end of the day, these moments are more valuable even those times that you had a good time. So you really have to adventure to the world and get the whole package, not just have fun, but have pain and suffering and all that, and see some gruesome shit. I've seen some gruesome shit, and I've seen traffic accidents that are horrific, and all sorts of you see the real life out there.
I like where you're going with this, but I think to get into a detail of your story, because I think often people are all like, they've friggin' got their copy of Eat, Pray, Love. They're ready to go. Oh, I'm gonna go find myself. Oh, I'm gonna go and do this, and I'm gonna go explore. Enough with the 9-to-5 job. Enough with the man keeping me down. I need to find the passion that's in my heart. And that doesn't work unless you've done the groundwork before. And we've already heard that in your story. The way that you were able to be free, the way that you could support yourself and do this is because you got these skills in London. And okay, you trained as a chef, there was that. You then went through a trial by fire in London in one of the most intense environments in cooking that one could imagine. You've earned that skill. You've developed that skill. And then that is how you're able to then go and enjoy yourself in that time. Because it's not like, oh, I just abandoned my job and I ended up in Sihanoukville and now I got to work out, oh, I once played a guitar in high school, so now I'm playing in a band. Like for me, it was that I have this master's of computer science and I worked for some years, and I was fortunate that my first boss, Rob Castaneda, he quickly worked out that I was better at talking than I was at programming. And I have a debt to pay for him. I was it's now a very big company, but I was employee number, 15 or something, that classic startup getting in the ground story. So I got to see how the company evolved. I got close access to a growing leader to see how he did it. And they also did training. They did IT training. And so he's like, we need a trainer. You're going to be a trainer. And I'm like 2 weeks out of university. I'm like, I guess I taught some shit in university. I taught like a course. I'm like, all right, I can do this. And it was, really hard work because I'm teaching. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I've got to go to I've got to go to Melbourne and teach a training course in a big building in this IT software that I only learnt last week. But fuck it, I'll, and when I talk about my work experience because a trainer has to have experience, I did these projects. I'm talking about my university assignments, but it doesn't matter. And I'm somehow bullshitting my way through this. And over the years of being a trainer long enough, well, I actually get experience and I actually do end up knowing what I'm talking about. And it was then the company that owns this software, they were called Web Methods. I don't think they even exist anymore. Then the European office heard that there was this nuts Australian kid who was happy to travel and do anything. And so then they would start to bring me to Europe and I would do I did 4 weeks in a row. And I did, a week in Germany, and a week in Norway, a week in Finland in the middle of winter. Oh my God. I go to Finland. I have no idea about Finland. I've just come to Europe. I teach these 2 Finnish guys in an office in Espoo, and they don't show an emotion for the whole 5 days.
Typical Finnish.
And I write to my boss, because everything that you're in training world, you're only judged on the, are they happy? And they do a survey at the end of the week, online survey, and it's all about how good that survey is. Because it'll take them weeks, if not months, to work out you're full of shit. Once they get back to the workplace. So it's all about that survey. So I get really good at taking them out to lunch on the Friday. We have a couple of beers. Oh, now it's time to do the survey. Great. And so I get really good at doing that. And I write to my boss on the Friday morning before I go on this ritual. And I'm like, boss, I don't think this is going to be good. These 2 motherfuckers haven't cracked a smile all week. They haven't asked the question. I don't know what we're going to do. And my boss writes back, well, thanks for telling me. This is going to happen sometimes. Don't worry about it. She's like, I've heard the Finnish can be a little bit unemotional. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Sure. Now I've learned something cultural today. And yeah, we get the survey results back, 5 out of 5. They loved it. And I was like, well, you could have fucking told me that. Yeah, so I've done this work over the years of traveling. That's how I supported myself when I lived in Estonia for the first time, still traveling around doing these training courses. It's not like I just had a job in Sydney, abandoned my life, and came to live in Estonia and then be like, no, what the fuck do I do? I still had this gig going that gave me skills that I can earn money. And I was still, even to a certain level, even after we formed Comedy Estonia, still doing a bit of IT work. I didn't like it, but I was still doing a bit. I actually worked a little bit back in the day on the Estonian X-Road system, this system that hooks up all the Estonian IT systems. I trained a bunch of those guys and did a little work on that. So I was still getting a little money coming in. And I was able to, in the early days of Comedy Estonia, very gently bring down the amount of IT work I did as I was bringing up the creative, as we were doing more comedy shows, maybe selling some tickets, maybe people wanted us to come to the party or something like that and getting a private event. And that's how you've got to do it. I think if people want to make a sea change, right on. They want to get out of the mold that they're in, but you have to find this way to sort of just guide it into your new career. And that's exactly what you did. You're in Cambodia helping kitchens out. This is literally what you trained for. Yeah,
your story is absolutely amazing. And yeah, that's how it is. You just gotta roll. You gotta roll with it sometimes. I went to London first time. I only had a plane ticket and a few bucks.
You didn't plan it, right? This wasn't your plan either. No. I'm gonna go talk to the top chef. Then I'm going to Cambodia.
No.
It just goes.
Just an opportunity came along. A friend invited me. He was going, so he was like, "There's a company there. We can live in a company house until they find us a job, and then we start paying the rent." And everything was great, That's all how it worked out. I mean, it was difficult for the first time to go out. After 3 months, I was thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? It was dark. You travel every day for 1 hour to work, 1 hour back, and the system was new, the kitchen system, everything was new. It was hard. It was. Like I said, sometimes. Life gets difficult, but you just gotta get through that, and it gets better and better and better. And the thing is, I don't have any expectations. When I go anywhere, in that way, you cannot be disappointed. Everything that happens is a bonus, is an extra. It's very simple. So sometimes people think they have this great expansion, dreams and expectations. Not necessary. Just like you said as well, follow the signs. You work there. They told you good talker. We're gonna send you to Europe. You just follow the signs, and sometimes you just gotta your gut. Trust more of your gut a little bit than always your head.
Right, there is the gut. And there's this balance between, because by the time I'm asked to go to Europe, I do know what I'm talking about at that stage. I can reasonably pull off these training courses without appearing like, I'm hiding like a 12-year-old. So there is some mix of like putting your balls on the table and then eventually developing that into a skill. Like, are you developing a skill somewhere that can be utilized? And even, and I guess I don't want people to misinterpret my story, because it's super easy to understand IT, because everyone's all like, oh, I'm an IT guy, I'm a digital friggin' nomad with the e-visa, and I'm working for some startup, but I live in the mountains of Brazil or something. I think it's less obvious when it comes to other jobs that you're not a digital nomad when you're a chef. No, you got to be there in a kitchen, but you got a real skill. Like working in a kitchen and cooking and then learning how to manage is a real skill, and that's a skill that like everybody needs.
Oh, absolutely.
Wherever you go, and if people can get something like that, you'll be able to use it anywhere.
Well, that brings up a question that I've always wondered: why they don't teach cooking in school? Like simple things, money.
Yeah.
Why don't you? That's all we think about every day.
Tax. Why don't I teach you how to do tax?
Please,
Admittedly, it's not hard in Estonia. True.
No, it takes you 5 minutes or something.
Right.
But still, meditation, yoga. Why are these not? This is all very, very necessary for our existence. So why are we not teaching those skills that we're gonna definitely use, later in life? Because the things that I taught back then, I haven't used any of it. Zero. At that, if I'm looking at that way, I can, tell young people, please get out of school right now. Go to work. Start learning a skill or whatever. Be good at something, and then you be,
That's it. Be good at something.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's as long as it's something that you think somewhere someone might pay you for it. That's a good test.
Yeah, and you enjoy it.
If you enjoy it, absolutely.
Slightly. You don't have to enjoy it fully, but slightly you kind of feel even interested in it, then it's all right, because I didn't really like cooking when I started it, but I grew into it. And
you know what? I think this is an awesome point. That I think that often as well, we're told in today's society, follow your passion. Okay, I'm the career guidance counselor. I don't know if such things exist in Estonia, but it's like an American stereotype. And like, we're going to help you find, in Estonia, it's just go make a startup. That's the career counseling in this country. The common advice is follow the passion. What do you like doing? And then make a career out of that. And I think the evidence is showing more and more that it's actually not about your passion. It's about, can you do something reasonable that's a sellable skill? And like what you said, if you have something that's a skill and you get better at that skill, you will enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. I sometimes I crave it, I want to get back to it when I haven't done it for a while. So definitely, it's part of me, and also because cooking is a way of expressing yourself. It's still a form of art, and I can make people happy through food, and that's chemistry in a way, food chemistry, and the way you layer the flavors and everything. You can play with people's emotions through food. For instance, I just don't think that we were meant to eat food and then be full and that's it. It needs to be an enjoyment, and I like to think that good food makes you think. Even after half an hour later you've eaten the food, you'll be like, that was good. I still feeling it. It supports my body. It's full of minerals, vitamins. It's when I cook, I look that it's also just tasteful, but also beneficial for the person. So there's art to it, but that's what always pulled me to cooking as well, was art, because I obviously I like music and I can play with it. Yeah, I've
often thought that this idea that I've got that it's not necessarily you following your passion. It's developing a skill at something and then you enjoy it more. The analogy for me with that is like if someone says, if you love doing something, like I love retro video games, right? I love old Sega, old Nintendo, all this sort of stuff. But I have, through comedy and I love comedy, but through making comedy my business and going over the edge and losing my love of comedy because it was business and that's what I had to do, and then being able to now drag it back again, but I mean, it was off the deep end, right? That I went all the way to the other side of like, not hating it, but gee, this is not fun anymore because it's business. And now I've been able to drag that back and rediscover that joy and that fun and how much I just purely love doing this. After having that experience, there is no way that I'm ever going to try and work in retro video games. There's no way I'm letting my fun hobby turn into a business. People are like, why don't you sell some of your shit, Lewis? You know, make a little online store or something. Like, no way am I making it. It's fun. I want to do it completely for fun with no responsibilities. And to me, that example is, it's like the difference between if you just follow your passion and do your passion as a job, because that's like, oh, well, I'm inspired. I love, I don't know what, I love doing that thing. So I'll make that my job. That's like going to the gym when you're inspired. When I feel good, I'm going to go to the gym, right? But if anyone's seriously ever worked out, they know that you go to the gym when you feel like it. You go to the gym when you don't feel like it. You work out, you get a skill, you get better at going. And yeah, a lot of days you won't want to go to the gym, but you keep on going and getting better at it. And to me, that's when someone says, oh, I'm doing this because this is my passion. I'm like, it's like going to the gym only when you feel like it. You have to have that dedication, because what happens, because it's a job. So what happens when you don't love your thing anymore?
Yeah. Oh, that's tragic, isn't it? I mean, the thing is that we can also learn a few skills. You know, we can have few hobbies and few skills, because eventually, you know, we have time. Eventually, we have time, and we can improve ourselves through time. And this is how it works. When I'm thinking about a new skill, I'm thinking about like 5 years in ahead. I don't know, I'm shit now, but in 5 years, if I do it, you know, every day, I get better. It's simple as that. And you can collect those skills, and like you say, there's one of yours that's mine. You know, I'm not doing anything else with this. That's mine, and I'm keeping it, right? Because this is the way it is. And you don't just have to have one thing, right, that you're doing. Just get few things, 2-3 things, and you can, you know, go around those things a little bit, play around, and there's ways to feel really happy doing, you know, a job. You don't really have to, you know, go to work and not want to do it.
Right. It's the happiness that comes from crafting the skill, and crafting the skill comes from an idea called deliberate practice. And I think deliberate practice is different from just practicing. Deliberate practice is like, if you're playing guitar, you can just practice. You can get all the Britney Spears songs and play, and you're like, oh, I'm great at the Britney Spears songs. I can play all the top 40 hits. And yeah, I play for 3 hours a day, right? That's just practice. But when you are like your Danish friend and you learn these really difficult chords and riffs, and you go fast and you go slow and you do things that test you, and it's awkward and it's uncomfortable because you're trying these newer, harder things every day, you're also playing for 3 hours a day like the other Britney Spears guy. But that's deliberate practice. That's where you get better. And the double irony, weird balance in that is, it's hard because you feel awkward and uncomfortable every day. Every day I have to do something real hard. But that's where the ultimate satisfaction will come later, when you master that, when you get a little better over those 5 years. It is a little bit of delayed satisfaction. You have to think, okay, I'm going to feel great in 5 years, which is not very, when as humans, we're not very good at thinking that.
Not at all. And especially nowadays when everything is instant. it's so hard to think ahead and because everything receives, even like we order something from Amazon, it's here the next morning or whatever. Everything is getting faster. It's more like a video game every day now, and to think ahead and really get your practice down, that takes dedication and because me personally, I don't practice very good. I just, that's like you said, there's people who practice who get these riffs down and they're one of the best I've seen. I'm more like I'm not into that much. I practice a little bit, I do the songs, but I don't do the scales, and I mostly practice. That's how I thought. Every next performance, I practice for every next performance. This is why I play here today, because tomorrow I'm a little bit better. So that was my ideology, because I'm a little bit, I like ants in my pants. I can't stand on one chair for a long time. I need to move around. I need to run around. So it's.
But I think you got that in London, where in London you're working in a top restaurant. I mean, you're not just working in the local chippy, right? You are working. You've put yourself. It's not like your practice, but you've put yourself into a difficult environment. You don't have to work in such an intense restaurant.
No,
but you did.
Because in ways I think that I'm because I know that I'm dumb. Education system has failed me. I know that I'm dumb, but I'm persistent, right? When I start doing something, I'm like I can't give up. I'm running. I'm smashing my head to the wall until it starts breaking, and then one point it breaks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's my secret.
Just keep going. Just
keep going.
Dumb fucking. It's good, man. It's a good skill.
Yeah, whatever comes out of it, you'll be better. Sometimes that's not a skill you're looking for, but maybe through that experience you'll find that what you want to do. They say that we born twice on this earth. First time when we born physically, and the second time is we born when we realize why we are here, what we are meant to do here, because we all have a job to do here, it's the journey to find that thing. Why?
It is. I guess that's the lesson, or what? Like, I'm fucking. This is Socrates' fucking podcast. But the kind of thing that we're getting to today, that it sounds like both you and I in all, even Australian society, Estonian society, there is a thing of just go to school, get the thing. If you got the job, cool. Hey man, hey Seam, why haven't you got a Porsche yet? Everyone else on this block's got a Porsche.
Yeah. Nice house.
Yeah, we got guys with a pool next to the beach. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why have you got a pool next to the beach? Okay, you don't need. This is unneeded, but this is what we need now. We got a big square house. I got a pool next to the beach. I got a Porsche in the driveway. Even if Swedbank owns 75% of it, or something.
Yeah.
And that's what people do, and that's it's. Estonia is a very prosperous society right now, which is nice as well. Good sign that everything's here. But there's a balance to this. Not everyone has to be like this.
The majority is right. Is designed that way again. Like you say, through school, through religion, through racism, everything that keep us separated from one another. Because obviously there's something dodgy going on here, right? Like, I mean, governments are, are they on the top? Are the governments on the top, or there's somebody behind them governments? Yeah, exactly. What's going on now? The information is flowing, right? Because of the internet. Now we can get more access to the information about all these families and these people who have so much money that we don't know how much money they have, really. Politicians, I know they don't have that much money, right? So for me, it seems on the top is the people who have the most money, right? This is how the society works, unfortunately. But to make it work, to make it last and keep it going, we need those these people who are willing to sacrifice their life, their happiness, for the greater good, as they say, or however they portray it. So I'm not big on conspiracy theories and all that, because there's some wacky ones out there, right? But I have questions still. You know, I want some answers. Obviously, I have some, but I'm not gonna. You know,
It's the money that's controlling things. That I mean,
Yeah.
the politics is all just a bit of a show and a song and a dance.
it's exactly. It's a show for us, for our entertainment, and I mean there gotta be somebody, the big families, the banking families. I believe they control the whole play, right? And I would, you know, come on, man. You have what you don't need any more money. You have all the land in the world. What you gonna do? You still need to get you keep your mind occupied.
Power is odd,
yeah,
isn't
the
it?
power. Yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
And then what you've discovered, that when you're in Sihanoukville and you're playing in a band and you're earning a bit of money, you're comfortable. We don't need much more after we're comfortable. Actually not. Like, I mean, I don't know how these megalomaniacs, if I'm the Rothschilds and I've had money for the last 2,000 years and my great-great-great-great-grandfather funded the Roman Empire or something, like, okay, sure,
it's
but
a different breed, isn't it? It's we are on this earth, but we are all together. But some of us are just a different breed, and I mean, they are also programmed that way. It's not their fault that they're up there. And the thing is, like, how they keep us separated is by borders and through racism. Because if one day, God forbid, we should be united as a humanity, they would be in trouble. They would be in big trouble, because we would realize that this is unnecessary. There's other ways, and we eating up what they're feeding us at the moment. So and it will. I don't. People say that the spiritual people, oh, this will change, and the humanity is changing. They're realizing they're getting more spiritual. I'm like, I mean, where do you see it? I mean, there is obviously, but it's a small part. There's a very small percentage, and the show must go on as it is at the moment, unfortunately, as it seems.
One of the things that's got me through the lockdown and the uncertainty in the world, and then, oh my God, the Trump and the everything and all the bad things that have possibly happened in the world, I read a lot of history, and I've taken a real keen interest in Roman history. That's why I keep dropping Roman history references through this podcast. And I'm real interested that they had this great massive, there was the Roman Republic, and then that kind of went to shit and they couldn't maintain it. And then there was the dictators, the emperors took over. And at first I was like, oh, is there something to learn here? There was the Roman Republic. That sounds good. Republics are good. And then it got bad and it was too big and too massive. And then a dictator took over. I'm like, oh, I've heard this story. I know where this is going. What can I learn? And help me? And then you realize, oh wait, the Roman Empire went for another 1,000 years under the dictator. What it helped me out with all of this is that all this shit has happened before. It's happened before. People are nuts. I love reading. You can so easily read a history of Rome and just go, wait, these people are acting just like we are right now. Yeah, we got a cell phone and a Tesla, but beyond that, it's kind of the people are the same crazy mass that they've always been. And that gives me, I get solace out of that. I get comfort out of that, knowing, you know what, we're not different. Like, you think like, the Trump's coming and then the world's ending and it's cyberpunk now and it's Blade Runner and it's the Matrix and the machines. It'll be right. It's going to be bad for a while, but we just go up and down. And some history has taught me, like, just chill the fuck out. It'll go up and down.
History also repeats itself.
Yeah.
Quite oftenly. And yeah, man, it's I mean, you can do what you do, but at the end of the day, you just gotta, enjoy the ride. There's no what's the point of worrying about the things you cannot change. Just worry about the things you can change, and just.
Well, that's very stoic. That's what Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, would say. Just what can you control. Oh, you cannot. And that's what got me through lockdown, actually.
Yeah.
Is really heavily thinking about the company and going, okay, you can't control it. You're going to lose all the money. You can't control it.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
Yeah, the thing is,
just accept it.
they have this saying, right? Like to change the things and don't change the things. But nowadays they have the same saying, but just a simpler way, because we are getting more simpler as humans. And they say, what I say now is, it is what it is.
Is what it is, bro.
It is what it is. You know what can I do?
You do you, bro.
So yeah, we gotta see at least those things and think about and question those things. We don't have to start, be a messiah, but just to educate yourself on those things maybe a little bit, and I don't know, man. End of the day, people will keep on doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's just that's the main thing. Just do what you do and keep on doing it, and do it as long as you can.
Nice. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Thanks for coming in, Stan.
My pleasure. Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure being here.
So you're gonna do we've got Ykskõik open mic. You coming tonight?
Ooh, I'm coming tonight.
Fuck yeah. You're on the lineup. We've confirmed it. Yeah.
Oh shit.
We good? You good?
I'm good. I gotta say, this is my first as a stand-up.
Right. Because we didn't get to that you were doing something like this in Cambodia or some.
I did a few shows there, the same place that I played music, Led Zephyr. The owner really liked the idea, so I called you up as well. I asked your advice. I asked you advice and everything, and we did 3 shows, and it went really good.
Nice.
But the main comedians, they are in Phnom Penh, which is a capital, and they do shows there all the time. So. And I was doing music, so we decided it's just we had these 3 great shows. Let's keep it at that.
That's a good thing. And so tonight, you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. I don't have much experience, right? But with that, but I have a little bit. Playing music is you still have to talk. Sometimes you have to entertain people. But with music is you can always immediately stop talking when you say something stupid and start playing, and everybody forget what you just said. So that's been my my safety raft, that guitar, which I don't have today. So let's
just
see.
As long as you do your 5 minutes, that's it. That's the most important.
Yeah.
With any open micers, do your time. You'll always be invited back. It's when you do 10 minutes and we can't drag you off the stage, then we're like, this guy's never coming back again.
No.
Do the time, perfect.
5 minutes is maximum. I'm gonna do it tonight. Trust me.
It's great, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you downtown later on.
Excellent.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.